What's happening YouTube? Now, before we address the main topic of this video, I want to get this out of the way quickly, just for the 3 people who haven't heard yet. Last night, Coughlin666 was permanently locked out of his YouTube account. His account was permanently disabled after a video quoting the facts and statistics of the porn industry was flagged down for a community guidelines violation. Well, I say flagged down, but it was removed due to a terms of service violation, which means either it was flagged down or a YouTube admin removed it themselves. But we know YouTube admins don't do their fucking job, so it's pretty safe to say he was falsely flagged. However, Coughlin666 is not gone from YouTube. You can find him on 2 other accounts. He has his backup account, Coughlin616, and an account he has in collaboration with Ominous Voice called the Rob Char channel. You can go find him here, and just so you have no excuse by saying, oh, I watched Shredder's video to the end and completely forgot, I'm just going to stick in a brief little interlude now in the spirit of Coughlin, and you can go and pause the video, go subscribe to the Rob Chard and Coughlin616 channels, and then come back to mine. I'll wait here patiently, but in the meantime, Coughlin, here's to you, buddy.
My cock was there. I'll taste my pee-pee. 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 My cock was there.
And welcome back to the main part of this video, which is going to be a response to the user dprjones. dprjones posted a letter from me on the LOR forums, which I'm going to address here instead of on their website. Main reason because he raised some valid issues which I think should be addressed in a public setting rather than on the thread of a forum which is currently only being read by roughly 30 people. So, I hope you don't mind DPR, but let's just get this out of the way. Let me just bring up your letter, and here we go. Dear Shredder, thank you for your recent post. I am sure that you will forgive me for not dealing with all the issues that you have raised. I intend to limit my response to a number of points and address them with such brevity as clarity allows. I appreciate the fact that you recognise that I have responded to you by PM through YouTube, also that you have spoken to Physical Conservative who has confirmed what I said to you. Therefore, I hope that the question of my integrity needs no further examination. The points I would like to address are these. Firstly, and in my view most importantly, the identity of the entity, the League of Reason. It is clear that you still maintain that the main people who appear on the Talk Reason show are in essence the LOR, or at least representatives of it. By main people I am referring to Andromeda's Wake, Thunderfoot, Aaron Ra, Don Exodus and myself. I also happen to mention during my videos DPR, OMG it's Chris, Anti-Boo86, Das American Atheist, and This Was a Triumph, and also to a lesser extent Fact vs. Religion, but I'll address them another time. Well, Fact vs. Religion I'm going to address later in this video, but we'll ignore the other names for now. Let's just carry on. As I stated in my message to you, this is not the case, nor can it be said that we are a clique of the LOR. The LOR is a website that is run by Andromeda's Wake. I have never considered it anything other than that, nor have I ever played a significant role in it. Indeed, this is the first forum/thread on which I have made a comment. I fully accept that the impression given by the promotion of the Talk Reason show and the blog TV site that it is run from gives people the impression that it is part of or party to the LOR website. It was a matter I was concerned about at the time it was decided to run it under the banner of the LOR, and which I have raised subsequently. Here's where I have a problem with that statement, DPR. The fact is that, yes, the Talk Reason show was hosted on blog TV under the name The League of Reason, but in that same breath, the videos promoting it were calling the show the League of Reason call-in show. The League of Reason logo was smacked all over the damn thing, both the promotional videos and the show itself. And on top of that, if you want to watch the shows on YouTube, they're under the name League of Reason TV. Now, for you to, after all this, for you to then try and completely disassociate yourself, saying, oh, well, no, we don't represent the League of Reason anyway, we just happen to run the goddamn show under the name The League of Reason, we promote it under the name League of Reason, it's got our logo smacked all over it, but we have nothing to do with it. The League of Reason has nothing to do with it. This shows either dishonesty or arrogant stupidity on the part of your members. I'm not sure which it is. And I don't think you're a dishonest individual. I think you have a perfectly valid argument that the main 5 people involved in the Talk Reason show are arrogant and opinionated. We are. I'd be the first to admit it. If it were not for the fact that we all have strong views and a desire to express them, then the Talk Reason show would be rather mundane. I think I can speak for all of us when I say that our primary motive is to educate and encourage discourse, rather than increase our egos. Look, I've got no problem with people being arrogant and opinionated. Those can be good things if you can back it up with substance, as most of the League can. But my problem is when you call this show educational and to encourage discourse. so far, from the League of Reason shows that I have seen, that this has not been the case. Who have you educated exactly? I mean, all I've seen so far has been verbal happy slappings of Christians, where 3, 4, 5 of you try to talk over each other at once, and you're talking to a guy who knows nothing about what he's spouting off. What the fuck is educational about this, DPR? I mean, really, this is preaching to the choir at most. And yeah, it can feel good to crush a Christian, who knows jack shit. And to be honest, maybe subconsciously, this is what you're doing. You are stroking your egos by crushing someone who knows jack shit. But I do not think that you should tar the LOR website and those that contribute to it with the same brush. They are separate entities entirely. As I have stated, the confusion about this may have been our own making and may need clarification. My own view is that the Talk Reasons show should be broadcast on a different blog TV channel in order to avoid the confusion that you may have understandably fallen into. However, I suspect that your main grievance is not this, but one which I will address below. Yes, DPR, you should fucking run the shows under a different name if they're nothing to do with the League of fucking Reason! Secondly, speaking out about Pat Condell. The video you sent to me, if I recall correctly, dealt almost exclusively with Pat Condell. I think my interpretation of your video and my response was understandable. However, if that is not the issue, we can move on. Yeah, DPR, once again, I may have not been clear with my first video, but I do not give a flying fuck if people don't want to respond to Pat Condell. Aaron Ra made a response to Pat Condell, which was pretty damn good, but I don't care if anyone else doesn't want to respond to Pat Condell. He's insignificant. He's not part of your inner circle. This is what I was addressing, the fact that Fact vs. Religion, who is a friend of both yours and Thunderfoot's, is a bigot, and that Thunderfoot himself is a bigot, not Pat Condell. Oh, he's a bigot too, though, but never mind. I agree with your point that it is not the strongest condemnation I could have made. That said, let us not lose sight of the real world. I have known Thunder for over 18 months. I consider him a friend. I express my views delicately in public and forcefully in private. What would you do in my position? I went as far as I considered appropriate. Well, DPR, to say that your video was not the strongest condemnation is to put it lightly. The fact is, you basically said in the video, okay, I disagree with Thunderfoot on this, this, and this, I agree with them on this and this, but the overall issue is freedom of speech, and that's what Thunderfoot is doing. He's talking about freedom of speech. He's defending freedom of speech, so we can overlook all these other issues. We can overlook the fact that he has completely assassinated the character of the Muslim user Dawa Films. We can overlook the fact that he has associated Muslim moderates with Muslim extremists. We can overlook all of that entirely, because the issue is freedom of speech. What the fuck, DPR? Yeah, you may have been more forceful with them in private or on the blog TV shows, as you said, in front of a couple of dozen people at most, probably. But where Thunderfoot was doing his damage, where these videos were being viewed by tens of thousands of people, you basically did nothing. This wasn't condemnation. This was a support video, if anything. Look, Fake Sagan, of all people, Fake Sagan was able to clarify when he did his video Fuck Islam that he was not in favour of bigotry or white supremacy, because, you know, he had Christians patting him on the back saying, yeah, right on, brother, this is a Christian country, and fucking racists coming on saying, you know, fuck those dirty Arabs. But Fake Sagan, at least in that video and in later videos, said, I'm not on your side. It may have escaped your attention, but first of all, Islam is not a race, and secondly, not all Muslims are black or Arabic. Why couldn't Thunderfoot have done that? Why couldn't Thunderfoot have said, look, I apologise for the language I used, but I meant Muslim extremists, I did not mean Muslim moderates. Thunderfoot knew exactly what he was saying, DPR, and for you to call this a condemnation is a joke. Now let's just move on to the rest of the letter. Unlike others on YouTube, I will stand by him. He's contributed a great deal to YouTube. I'm not denying that, DPR. His scientific videos, I will admit, still rank up there as some of the best on YouTube. I admire his intelligence and I admire him as a person. I consider him a friend. I will not stand idly by and allow him to be able to say to me, "Et tu, brute." So, are you basically saying, DPR, that you think if you had been stronger with your condemnation in public of Thunderfoot, that he would have looked at this as a betrayal? I don't think that's the case. I mean, Thunderfoot is an intelligent person, okay? Now, he may be spineless when it comes to debating people who know exactly what they're talking about, but to say that he's not an intelligent person is bullshit. I think he would have realised, yes, this is genuine criticism. If you had maybe pulled him back from the edge when he was going overboard, as he did, then who knows? Maybe there wouldn't have been such a backlash against him. Maybe people wouldn't be viewing him now as the bigoted fucktard that he is. I also note, although correct me if I'm wrong, that at the time that he was making his videos about Draw Muhammad Day, you did not make any videos critical of him. If so, you appear to be criticising me for not criticising him sufficiently when you were mute over the issue. So at what point did you consider that it was necessary or appropriate to vent your spleen, so to speak? Obviously fairly recently. What triggered that? Yep, full disclosure, I did not make any videos critical of Thunderfoot on the Draw Muhammad Day debacle, and I did it for the following reasons. Number one, this is my second account on YouTube. I was hoping to try and keep my nose clean and avoid any more account strikes, and after I saw that Thunderfoot fanboys flagged down a video critical of Thunderfoot and got said user suspended, I thought, no, fuck this, I don't need this shit. And secondly, Thunderfoot made it clear he was not accepting any responses critical of his stance. He wasn't going to give the other side a platform to stand on. So much for a proponent of free debate or free speech, he wasn't even going to let the other side of the question be heard. What the fuck? And DPR, yes, I deserve to be branded a coward for those reasons that I've outlined. I deserve to be pilloried as a coward and as a pathetic little worm for not speaking out at the time. But for you to use this as an excuse saying, well, why the fuck am I being critical over you? You were the one that Thunderfoot would have listened to. If you had said to him, look, Thunderfoot, this is bullshit. You're lambasting all Muslims. You're criticising all Muslims for the actions of a handful of nutcases who commit these terrorist acts. You're associating them with each other, which is not fair. It's bullshit. He would have listened to you. Do you really think that this guy would have been a complete fucking baby and would have fallen out with you entirely over this? Do you really think he is that insecure of his position that he would have fallen out if you'd criticised him heavily over it? What the fuck? But, yes, it is more recently that I have kind of developed a fucking backbone and I've realised, yeah, you know what, it's about time that I fucking spoke out in this issue. The reason that I've decided to speak out in this issue is because, one, a close friend of both yours and Thunderfoot's, Fact vs. Religion, is endorsing the bigotry of the likes of Pat Condell. And now, yes, I'm going to apologise first and foremost for stating that Fact vs. Religion was a member of the League of Reason. I apologise. I have associated her wrongly with the League of Reason because of her association with you and Thunderfoot. But I will not apologise for my comments that she is a bigot. I maintain that viewpoint. But, yes, after seeing that she has been endorsing the bigotry of Pat Condell, and after seeing Thunderfoot's recent debacle on Blog TV, where he again tried to pull out garbage with relation to Islam, and got it shoved straight back up his ass, I've kind of got to the point where I've developed a spine and realised, hey, you know what? It's about fucking time I actually did speak my goddamn mind on this issue. Let's go back to your letter. You go on to say that you consider that it is wrong to demonise an entire group of people. Is that not the same point I made in my video? Yes, you did make that point in your video, DPR, but once again, at the end you kind of frosted over it and said, well, wait a minute, we can ignore that because the issue is freedom of speech. You completely just ignored it, and Thunderfoot again ignored it himself. He never once clarified this was a case of Muslim extremism he was fighting, and he instead lumped in Muslim moderates with them as well. That was my point. I do not think that the remaining points that you made were directed at me, so I will refrain from addressing them unless you wish me to do so. Thank you for your thread and the opportunity to address your points. Yours, DPR Jones. Well, thank you for your response, DPR. I hope I've been clearer this time with my views on what you've said. If you don't want to leave comments on this YouTube video, then feel free to send me some PMs. We can have a back and forward that way. Or I will type up a transcript of this video and I'll post it to the LOR forums instead. But until next time, this has been The Shredder. Peace out.